So we went to the balloon museum last week. A complete waste of time.
You didn't like it. You liked it. Why lie?
Listen, like, I love balloons. Like, you know that. That's why, like, we went. But I don't like false advertising. I really hate false advertising.
Okay.
Like, it really pisses me off. Because, like, I'm like a very, like, impressionable consumer of, like, good marketing.
Right.
You know? So it's like, if I see something that has, like, a well thought out marketing strategy and, like, it looks appealing, like, I'm a fall for it.
Right.
I'm an average man, okay?
Right.
So when I saw balloon museum and, like, the logo has the balloon and then
even
all
the signs outside, remember the handwritten
all
signs?
of it was
like
balloons.
just balloons.
I love balloons. You know
Right.
that. I love balloons.
Right.
But were there any balloons in there?
There were some balloons in there, but it wasn't for like touching.
Listen, Balloon Museum in New York City, y'all gotta. That's not nice because, like, I really like balloons. Y'all didn't have a single balloon.
Okay,
in there.
but you
Y'all have a
understand.
single
You
balloon.
understand the hazard behind a balloon. If everyone's touching it, it's gonna pop. Then there's no museum.
Why are you if I have a museum of like lizards and I got some cats in there, like, what are people gonna think? They just had balls. It's just balls. They just had, like, different balls and different, like, variations. So
you really like the adult ball pit.
I'm a big fan of adult ball pits. I'm a big fan of ball pits. And that brings in the question I want to ask you.
Right.
So that was, like, the main attraction that they had. They had this big ball pit. I'm a big ball pit guy. Big,
Right.
like, bouncy house ball pit.
You saw, like,
extravaganza guy.
You saw Bubbles. You like that too.
But it's like, that's not.
If
I'm not gonna go travel.
If
like,
anyone
to
like
a
listened to
museum.
this, they're probably thinking of talking to a toddler right now.
No, so this is what the museum was. It was like 9 different rooms, and each room had like a different variation of like a ball. So like one room was like a big ball pit. Another room was like they just blew bubbles in the air. Another room was like they had these inflatable balls.
There was another one where you just pushed the ball against the wall. I mean, you were really happy, so I don't know why you're
I was
hating
happy because I got them for free. If I didn't get them for free, I would have been mad. So my question is, what is something that, like, you kind of, like, liked or, like, maybe even didn't like as a kid, but now that you're an adult, you love it? You know, I'll go first.
I mean, that's kind of unfair because you already had an answer in mind. I don't.
I was just going to give you time to answer. I'll go ahead if you got something.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Because I got an answer for you.
Oh,
too,
okay.
but
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say mine.
Say it.
Playgrounds.
You didn't like that as a kid?
I was just always like, because I used to get, like, thrown down the slide a lot. Because, like, when I was growing up, like, I was a lot smaller than, like, a lot of the, you know, my competitors.
Right. Your competitors.
So, they would just,
They just push you.
just throw me around.
Why they push you
Like,
so
I
hard?
remember I would always like to do the monkey. Actually, one of my first spoken word poems is about this time when, like, I was hanging off the monkey bars and this white kid just pulled me off the
Oh my
monkey bars.
god.
Yeah, and it left, like, a scar on my hand.
Oh.
Yeah. But
Whereas I was
love
like,
playing
I
with
was
them.
the monkey bar queen in my grade.
You
I
were?
was teaching. Yeah, I was teaching people how to use the monkey bars
Really?
and make tricks. Yeah.
Tricks? What
Yeah.
type of tricks?
Like flips and stuff.
You did.
I
Why are
did.
you lying right now?
No, it's true. I
You
was
did
monkey
flips on a monkey bar when you were a kid.
queen. Yes.
What type of... I really don't believe you.
I'm telling you the truth.
Do you have an answer to my question?
I thought you said you had an answer for my question.
No, that was my answer.
I thought you had an answer
Oh,
for
I
me.
do.
What is it?
Coloring books.
Yeah.
You like coloring books now.
But I liked coloring books when I was little.
So do you have a better answer?
I can't think of one right now
Okay.
at the moment.
All right.
That was a
well,
good question, though.
I told her not to put any milk in my coffee. There's milk in my coffee.
Did you say it in Spanish?
Yeah. No leche. Por favor.
That's not how you say milk.
Leche?
It's leche?
What you think it is?
Oh,
How you
it
gonna
is.
tell me?
It
You're
is. It
half
is.
Colombian. Anyways. Did you want to start our podcast? Or?
Yeah.
Or not?
All right. Anyway, welcome back to our podcast called Difficult Dish, a podcast about different South Asian narratives. I am Mahua.
And my name is Mashnu.
And today, well, we're back again with another video episode. If you guys didn't watch episode 1,
It's actually really good.
it came out. We did our first video episode. There were a lot of technical difficulties. We're back again with, you know, our running streak. It's a lot of fun to record in person,
It
you
is.
know?
I like we have like the whole setup and the whole production going on. Like at first I was like, oh my god, there's so much work. But like it's kind of nice like building this out
therapeutic.
and like like here we are and it's just us,
Yeah.
like like I haven't seen you in so long.
Here it goes again.
Since like the last episode.
Maybe one day we'll have a little studio for it, where like we don't have to build it out every single time. And
what would our studio look like?
Freaking balloons everywhere.
Just balloons everywhere.
Just balloons everywhere. But anyway, so today's episode has been something that we've been thinking about for the last few weeks, especially with
that's good.
Everything that's been happening in the world and in Palestine. We wanted to kind of talk about what it's like being a Muslim nowadays, what it's like being a Muslim, especially post 9/11, what it's like right now during a whole genocide, when that's happening, and just how we grew up in the society and also what we've seen in society, how media portrays us, just kind of like our experience with this, because with now everything happening, there has been like an increase in hate crimes and just like horrible things going on for people that look outwardly brown. It doesn't even have to be a Muslim person. It can be just someone that has a beard and they are not Muslim. They can be Sikh. It can be someone with a turban. And so many different people fall for just like the hatred of Muslims and like Islamophobia. So we really wanted to talk about this like serious topic with like our own accounts of this, because me, Mashoud, and I, we both grew up like post 9/11 time. We were in elementary school, so we have kind of like our own accounts of it.
Do you have like do you know like your first like memory or like remembrance of like learning what 9/11 was, or like your first memory, like someone saying something to you in regards to like terrorism or like Osama bin Laden or like anything like that?
I mean, when 9/11 happened, we were like, what, 3?
Yeah.
We were like 3 years old. Yeah, we were in New York.
I've just heard stories from, sorry to cut you off, I just heard stories from like my parents and like my sister, because my sister was like 7 or 8. So maybe she has like a little bit more remembrance, but like I personally don't remember anything.
Yeah, I don't remember too much. I think like a few years later, when I was more in like elementary / like high school, kids obviously started being ruder and meaner, because that's just like how kids are.
What they said?
They're like a membrane of their surroundings. A membrane, a little membrane of their surroundings.
I have never.
You don't like that one?
Did you make that up?
I just made it up.
A membrane of their surroundings.
Yeah, you don't
Maybe
like
I gotta sit on it.
Put on a shirt. Put on a shirt.
I'll get
put on a shirt, guys.
I'll get back to you.
But
different.
Yeah, so they were mean. I'm sure I was mean to people too. But anyway, I remember. Also, my last name is Khan. Okay, so that does not make it better. That sucks. That really does not make it better.
Sucks, yeah.
I used to get. I mean, not even just me. People would just get called in like a family member of like Saddam Hussein or like Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
Just casually.
Yeah.
Like, damn, are you the sister of Osama?
Is that your dad?
Yeah, is that your dad? Like, so funny. They expect you to laugh along. But yeah, it was not helpful that my last name was Khan. I remember in 6th grade, I was so proud. I remember I mentioned this in another episode, probably a few. I wore hijab for a very brief time, and I was very happy and excited. It was like post-Christmas, coming to school after, being at home for the past like few weeks, and I was like, damn, new year, new me. Like, no one told me I had to wear it. It was just me and my own will. Yeah, I was just trying to pull up, excited, showing off to people, surprising them, and it was not a happy time period.
What they said.
I don't even know if anyone like said anything specific. Like, I can't really think of anything, but it was just like the feeling I had, and obviously like we are talking about this in a very like privileged sense, because I think obviously we look brown, but we don't look like outwardly Muslim. Like, we don't wear like the headscarf. We don't wear something that really distinguishes us. So we are talking about it in like a lighter sense, and I'm sure it's worse for a lot more people. But I remember when I did pull up in the hijab in 6th grade, I was expecting like everyone to be like, wow,
oh
like,
my god, so brave.
Oh my god, so brave. Like,
beautiful.
You're so cool. Not even cool, but like, oh my god, like amazing. Like, we love this change for you. No. But like immediately I felt this change of air. I felt like I was losing friends immediately. I felt like the guys didn't like me in class. I just felt like, and also I think I was the only hijabi in class, so I was like sticking out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
It did not feel good. Thumb. So, as a 11-year-old, I took it off after a month,
Damn.
And it's like, I put it on so proudly and I was excited, but in that time you're so impressionable and everyone else's like comments, it affects you a lot.
Yeah.
So that's why it really affected me and I took it off. But I feel like if I had done it now, like obviously I'd have stronger, I'd have a stronger mindset. But back then I didn't have that.
Yeah, it's tough when you're a kid. Like growing up. Nowadays I'm very proud and very loudly Muslim. But when I was a kid, I was so like I did not care about being labeled as Muslim or like identifying as a Muslim at all. I think mostly because I don't remember really having any Bengali or Muslim or Bengali people around me to like celebrate Islam with. It was just like in the household.
Yeah.
And I think when your only source or input of Islam comes from the house, it can leave a sour taste in your mouth because like if the relationship with the family isn't good or if like the way that they're portraying Islam on you isn't in a good way either, it can steer you towards like a negative path with the religion. Like one thing that I always say nowadays about Islam is like religion should be like an asset, not a liability to you. It should be, you know, something that helps you do well and helps steer you towards bad instead of like
steer you towards bad.
Steer you
away from bad.
No, don't do that. Steer you away from bad instead of you know, a lot of us are just taught religion with fear. We're taught like, oh, don't do this or this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Don't do this, you have to do this, and if you don't, then
you're done.
You're
going to hell.
hellfire. Done. Nothing you could do. And religion is something as well as like many other things that like should not be taught with fear. Like it should be taught that like, hey, like this is God, this is Allah. Allah loves you. Allah has created this and that, and like, you know, we should worship Him for doing all these things and creating everything. But when you're a kid, you're not thinking like that.
Yeah.
So you know, I can think of so many times where like people will pick on me. I'll be called Osama bin Laden all the time. I'll be called, you know, like.
No, little you with like a toothless grin. I was like calling you that, getting pushed down the slide. Come on.
No, because I think in elementary school, I don't remember anybody brown in my school. Actually, I don't think there was.
Damn, it's just you?
I think it was just me. I remember in middle school, I went to a charter school, and I went to like a Turkish charter school. Very odd. Long story how it ended up
that
there.
is very odd. Very specific.
My mom could explain how it ended up there. But there were a lot of Muslims there, and I think that was my first time ever being like around Muslims. And I was like, wow, like you guys know what fasting is. You guys know what Ramadan is. Like nobody ever knew what that was. Like I was so used to nobody even knowing what Bangladesh was. And like some people, like some of my teachers knew what Bangladesh was. It was cool because it was like the first time where you feel seen for like who you actually are, and like who like you truly are instead of like, you know, like your personality. Yeah, I mean before that, like going back to 9/11, I think one of the big reasons why we moved down to Florida. I moved down to Florida in 2001 or 2002. It was right after that. And there were other things going on in New York, but I'm sure that was like a steering factor because like life, I'm sure you can attest to this. Maybe like I'm sure like your dad or maybe like people in that generation can attest to the fact that like life in New York was really hard as like a brown guy, brown man, brown woman, whatever, after 9/11. You know?
Yeah, I mean, even we talked to a friend the other day, and she was talking about how her family moved her after 9/11 just because the fear in New York was, like, a lot crazier than surrounding states or other places just because it happened, like, right there in New York.
Yeah.
So it really makes you think about, like, how many people were just scared for their lives because of, you know, this one terrorist attack that was committed by terrorists that perhaps came from Muslim origin, but then the entirety of the religion was blamed for that, and not just like Muslims but also just like brown people in general. And it's just so wild because we always had this like wrong stereotype that was placed on us for the action of a few people, whereas other terrorists that are white that commit all these like, you know, like shooting crimes and like sprees.
It's a one and done.
It's a one and done.
He should have gotten help.
Yeah. So it's really right after that happened, we were placed under such scrutiny, and the media just like shit on us so heavy, especially like in movies and shows and things like that. We were always seen as like the dirty terrorists. You know, like actually, like think about it. Like when it cuts to a scene where it's like showing a brown person, they're either always driving a taxi or they're just like in the Middle East.
Mad at,
they're just in the Middle East with guns on their shoulders.
No in between. The filter is like super yellow and orange and brown. But going back to something you said, something that I want to touch on is the fact that like after 9/11, anything that was done wrong or is done wrong by one group of person or just one person is then blamed on the entire religion of Islam. You think of ISIS, you think of the Taliban, you think of all of these groups of people that absolutely misrepresent the name of Islam is tainting the name of Islam for everybody in the world. Whereas you think about how many Muslim countries there are. You have from Yemen to Malaysia to like Uzbekistan. You have like things are different between all these different countries. You know, so if like the Taliban is doing something wrong, you know, the Taliban prohibits women from getting education in Afghanistan. Clearly wrong, but that is blamed on all of Islam. That should be blamed on the Taliban, who are misrepresenting the name of Islam and doing whatever the hell they're doing. You know, like. But here in America, you talk to fucking David and Josh, and they're gonna say, "Oh, you know, you guys." What do you mean, you guys? That's you guys don't like women.
Together with that.
What are you talking about? They're like, but you think about like the white race, and like there was like a massive shooting in Maine like last week or something. There were like 20, 30 people that were killed. Mm-hmm. Nobody was talking about it. Mm-hmm. God forbid that guy looked like me. God forbid that guy looked like somebody else. So and I feel like we've gotten so used to like, you know, I think there was a point in my life where like when I saw something happen in the media, like for example the Orlando Pulse shooting, he was Muslim, he was brown.
Oh yeah.
And I hated that he was Muslim. I was like, fuck, like this is gonna be everywhere and everyone is gonna be talking about ISIS and Al Qaeda and because it was a fucking Muslim. And that really made me upset. And thank God, like, I think for a moment I was like, man, I feel like somebody's gonna end up saying something to me, like in this city, because like it was in my city. Nothing happened, but yeah, man, like whenever something happens and it ends up looking like someone like me, I just know it's gonna get blown up because the media just does not like to put us in a positive light.
Mm-hmm. But it's just like very unfair when you grow up with that. That feeling that you're like generalized with this small percentage of bad people, you know? And even that, like, on to my next point, it's just like wild that Muslim men are usually like stereotyped into these like animals and these horrible people that are terrorists and just like animalistic, you know? Whereas like what we're seeing in the Middle East right now is that all these Arab men are just so kind and giving, like especially with the genocide going on right now. Like they're the ones that are reporting on the scene. They're the ones that are like dressing up as cartoon characters to, you know, take care of these kids that just lost their parents. They're the ones that are like fully holding on to children that are like passing away, you know? And there's like so much softness to them and so much like compassion to them that's like never seen, because we just, even me, you know, like it's watching Hollywood and watching Western media, you have this bias that you grow up with, whether you are brown, whether you are white, whoever the audience member is, because of how much you see it, you know? So it's like just very sad that we have this like this idea that these men are just scary people, you know?
Yeah. And I think something else that I want to touch on is the fact that you gotta think like what it does to your mind and what it does to your character, knowing that like you are only given attention when something bad happens to your people. Like you think about Palestine, you think about Yemen, you think about all these countries that, like, you know, Palestine has been going through occupation for decades. The only time where people talked about Palestine was, you know, the first Intifada when they fought back, the second Intifada when they fought back, any time in the last couple years where they choose to resist a little bit, and October 7th, it's the only time when like Palestine is put in the news. But it's like those are not the only times when Palestine is undergoing occupation. Palestine is going under occupation every single day, every single second in between those points, like of highlight in the media, and all those highlights in the media are negative. So you got to think about what that does to a Palestinian. Like, yo, like they don't, like, nobody cares about us unless we do something bad. Like, nobody gives us any attention. Nobody gives us any sort of anything.
It makes you think about how much attention like Ukraine got right away, you know, because they are predominantly white people. It makes you think about how much the freaking goddamn Notre Dame, when it got burnt down, got. Like, why did that get millions and millions of dollars fundraised to get rebuilt immediately for a building? Damn, whereas we're like that. Begging for people to even pay like a dime of attention to these people.
That. And you also think, something that I read yesterday was like, you know, you think about the border crisis that's going on between America and Central America, like not only Mexico, but a lot of those Central American countries are trying to migrate into America through the Mexican border. And you think about how, like, inhumanely all those people are being treated. Whereas, like, if that border situation was going on between the United States and Canada, where a lot of Canadians were trying to immigrate into America, there is no way that those Canadians would be treated the same way that these brown-skinned Latins are being treated. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be, and even if it was, it would get mainstream headlines all throughout America, like, oh, these Canadians are being put in these camps and blah blah, being separated from their kids. We can't let this happen.
Yeah,
they're Canadians, they're white, but you know, colored people, a lot of time, you know, white Americans don't realize that colored people are just not put to the same, like, humanitarian, like, guidelines and standpoints that, like, white people are, you know. Like, if only America took, like, brown people, like, that serious.
Yeah.
You know, and brown people issues that serious.
Do you think that will ever happen?
I don't think so. Because at what point does it happen if it's, you know, America, or like white America has been bad at this for so long? You know, how poorly they treated the Native Americans, how poorly they treated black people, how poorly they treat every single race nowadays. I don't have faith. I have little hope that they will, but, like, who knows? Maybe we just need somebody in power to steer us towards the right way and to make, like, racial issues and humanitarian issues, like, a spotlight of, like, their presidency or their, like, power in, like, the country.
Even then, it's gonna take decades, I feel like, for it to be swayed.
And then you gotta go, like, bro, I saw something today, I think in California, I forgot what state, but, like, there were a bunch of, like, neo-Nazi, like, white people that were outside of, like, that were outside of a Jewish place of worship. Forgive me, I forgot what the, like,
synagogue.
I think, yeah, synagogue. Just a fucking screaming anti-Jewish shit. You're not seeing that on the news. I'm seeing that on, like, a little clip on Twitter, and then it's getting dusted, you know?
Yeah.
But some Palestinians do an uproar at Columbian University, and everybody in the world knows. Mm-hmm. So we got a lot of work to do.
I think about how when I was back at home growing up, we had this, like, mosque that was pretty small, but it was, like, the first mosque in our neighborhood that was predominantly white and like Indian Christians too. And it was kind of, like, in the corner, like, it didn't bother anyone, and it was, you know, again, very small, so we didn't, like, take up space or anything. But obviously during Ramadan and during Taraweeh prayer at nighttime, it would, like, be crowded and there would be more noise. And we would get so many complaints from people, like, surrounding town or surrounding areas, of them just, like, mad about the azan, you know, like the worship, the prayer that's, like, a little bit more volume. Mm-hmm. And, like, they would just get so mad about it. But whereas, like, when you hear church bells at 6 p.m. every day, or when you hear this and that every day, it's not a problem, you know? Yeah. And it's just so wild that, like, we can be existing peacefully, or we can attempt to, and it's still an issue. Yeah. Like, I remember when I first moved into that area in the early 2000s, it was, again, very predominantly white. It was probably, like, 70% white. And now that area is, like, probably like 25% white and like mostly Muslims and like brown people now, which is so amazing to see. But it shows you that like they all left when we started coming in, you know, like damn, we're not that scary. Yeah.
Why are people so scared of us? I'm just, you know, like, I just write poetry.
You just get pushed down the slide.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like, I got this coffee in the morning and I told her no milk, but she put milk, and I'm not gonna lie, it's really good. Like, so why'd you make it a big deal? I think I might switch it up.
You're nowadays. A stand now for milk? For leche?
You know, people change.
Yeah, people change.
People change.
Do you remember the first time you got randomly checked at the airport?
I don't know about the first time, but I got checked in Iceland. I had a layover. Reykjavik. Shout out Reykjavik. One of my favorite cities in the world.
No, it's not.
Shout out my cousin Noor. He loves Reykjavik just as much as I do. He's been we've gone together multiple times.
No, you haven't.
I had a layover in Reykjavik, my favorite city, when I was coming back to Orlando from London, right? And I had like, it was like a 50-minute layover, and I get off the plane and they're like, come here.
Just like that.
And yo, it's actually funny
because there's like
a little story to this. So like, I think I told you, but so, and like he like pulls me into this room. There's like 12 people in this room. They're all brown skin, and I'm like, yo, like
there are a pretty good amount of brown people in Reykjavik.
No, I'm talking about the people that are checking.
Oh,
not
a lot of brown people visit Reykjavik.
I don't know if they were there.
I saw so many families.
Layovers. Whatever.
Maybe.
Yeah, shout out Reykjavik. It's like, you know, like I flew Iceland Air.
Yeah, Iceland Air is fire.
Yeah, shout out Iceland Air.
They got good.
Sponsor us. They were so at this point I'm being a dick. I'm being mean to this guy because I got like 45 minutes to my flight. I gotta get on the plane. Like, gotta go back home.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, like my shit is leaving, bro. Like, I don't have anything. Like, please, I don't have anything.
You had like a walnut in your.
I have like some almonds, some cashews. Like, I don't have anything. Like a bottle of water. So he pulls me into the room, right? And he's like, oh, like I got check all your shit. Like, it's random checking, blah blah whatever. And I'm like, okay. And then he's like, oh, can you take off your jacket? And I took off my jacket. He's looking through my jacket, and I'm like, he's like, can you take off your bag? I can give him my bag. And then he's like, can you take off your shoes? And I was like, nah.
That's how you look even more sus.
I was like, I'm not taking off my shoes. Cause I'm being a dick. I don't have anything, bro. I'm just like, why you gotta check on my shit? And I'm like, nah. I was like, I'm not taking them off. And so he takes them off, right? And I'm wearing socks. He's like, can you take off your socks? I'm like,
at this point, he just wants to see your feet.
Nah, I can't. You can. I'm not going to. I made him take off my socks. I made him see that I don't got nothing on.
You just want to see your twinkle toes.
You want to see my pinky toes, see how moisturized they are. I gave you a show, but I don't got no.
What did he say at the end?
Huh?
What did he say?
He was like, yo, you're good. You could put your stuff back on. And I was like, I knew he wasn't going to, but I was like, can you put my socks back on? he laughed.
Like, he like rolls it up for you. Like, yo,
yeah, and I made my flight. So
I remember actually, horrible story. When I was solo traveling and I had a layover in Germany. I mean, also I got randomly checked in Miami, which was crazy. You know, crazy.
Miami.
But like, yeah, Miami out of all places. Huh?
Nothing.
All right. Anyway, so when I was solo traveling and I was going to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
No.
Rich flex.
No, where I was going to Paris.
Rich flex.
That's not. I was going there and I had a layover. And like my flight was also same like you, like in 50 minutes, right? And the layover also, when you go through another country, you have to put your passport and do like the whole checks again, right? They were being very like rude, but they were rude to like any foreigner. Yeah, no, it's Germans. Oh, sorry. But anyway, I went through the Germany border or whatever. And then I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my last name. I don't know if it's because I look brown or the fact that they knew they could harass me because I'm solo by myself and I'm a girl, right? They had to go through my whole ass bag because my curler like rang up in their system. I don't know what they thought it was. They were like, open bag. So I had to open the whole goddamn bag. And let me tell you, when I went to Paris for a month in London, I took just like a carry-on, right? I fit everything into a carry-on. Like, imagine a whole month of stuff into just a carry-on. So it was breaking at the seams. They made me open that up.
Damn.
And then guess what?
What?
They made me open up my Doc Martens. And guys, I was on a plane for like almost like 20 hours, I believe, right? It was a while.
Sorry. Keep going.
So I was on the plane for a while, right? These Doc Martens were not smelling hot. They were not smelling hot. Took them off.
Did you make them take them off?
No, I didn't make them take it off, but the socks were.
The socks did it.
The socks
made them regret.
They were regretful. But anyway, they went through the whole shebang. They felt stupid at the end. You know, they don't even like close the luggage for you when they're done.
Damn.
They made me close it. And guess who missed their flight?
Who?
Guys, I was running. I was on the little like, you know, the little treadmill thing that like makes you go faster across the terminal. I was on that.
I like those.
I liked them too, but it didn't do much at all. And also my duffel bag I was dragging behind me was ripped. I was running, you know, and I was like, I was at the gate. Okay? I was at the gate, like right on time. They were like, "Yeah, we called your name. The flight's gone." So,
God
Germany,
damn, you random checkers.
Germany, you really did it for me.
We're not returning.
We're not returning. I actually might go to. I like Germany. Seems cool.
Hope you get checked again.
Imagine.
On the topic of getting like randomly checked out, how you feel about like when people
randomly checked
when
out.
people are like, oh, like she's so blah blah like for a brown girl, or like she's so like blah blah like for a brown person.
That's so messed up, bro. My best friend and I, we still talk about this remark that I had to this day that I had like back in high school, where this one brown girl who was just like a little bit lighter than me tried complimenting me, and she said, because you know people say like, oh, you're pretty for a brown girl, you're smart for a brown girl, whatever. She goes, "You're pretty for a brown girl."
For a double brown girl.
She had to really emphasize it, because it's like you're brown, as in like you're dissy, but like you're browner.
Extra dissy.
Extra brown. Like no, like extra chicken. Like color, like extra brown, more melanin.
Oh,
like she's saying you're pretty for like a brown person.
Yeah.
But like a dark brown person.
Yeah, all the dark brown person I've met. No.
That's crazy. It's literally a backhanded compliment.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I used to have I thought he was a good friend.
Oh no.
One of my I was about to say it again. That's how like much it hurt me, you know, when you like naturally call them your good friend,
right.
But like
they're not. They're just bad.
He was this kid I used to carpool with in 7th grade.
Never again.
He used to just like casually just like call me India. Like, what's up?
What's the context?
Nah, just like he only said it though when like he was like mad or like upset or something. Like I remember this one day, our mom was supposed to. Our mom. The hell?
The hell?
Sorry.
Hello?
My mom was supposed to pick us up, and she was taking a while, and he came up to me and he was like, "Yo, India, where's your mom?"
Hey!
That's like
so casual.
I feel like when you're young, you kind of like get used to it. You're like,
it's
oh
casual.
Man, I guess my name isn't. Like, damn, that sucks. Like, nothing I could do about that.
Yeah. You like respond to it.
Like, you're like, oh, she'll be here soon.
She'll be here soon.
I hate like the white people that are like extremely slightly cultured, who like know the word biryani or like know the word like coriander and feel the need that they're like feel that they're like in the community. Like for example, like the other day I went to like a photo shoot with my friend Jake, and he invited this one guy who like I've met before, but he's
damn, we're really gonna hit on the friend right now, huh?
But this is somebody else, but like he's Latin, but he's like extremely white passing Latin, like extremely white passing. And he like just moved to New York City like 2 months ago. Like I've been here for like a while, like since I was born in Bronx, actually, Westchester. Yeah, I was born in the Bronx, right? So I'm from here. Like
that's really what any transplant would say.
I could talk about the city however I want to.
Right.
But he can't, because he from Naples. Damn, I just dropped where he's from. He's from Naples, Florida, whatever. And we walked past like a gyro truck, and he was like, oh, that That's called the Habibi truck. We call that the Habibi truck here. And then for the next hour, he just kept saying the word Habibi. He's like, "Oh, Habibi." You just found out what this word is. And yeah, so I just knew a lot of people like that just knew the word Habibi or knew the word biryani and just kept calling me that forever.
They just thought it was like an exotic word.
They felt like they were like in the community because they like knew that word. You know,
I get it.
Not me though.
Not you.
Like I go to Colombia, like I'm really Colombian. No, but
that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, like being Muslim, bro. Like, how's being Muslim now? How do you? Are you proud to be Muslim now?
I'm proud to be Muslim now. What is your
relationship with not like with God itself, but like with the religion of Islam? How is it?
I feel like I've grown up with it being kind of having it like forced and like more fearful, but now I think I've been more faithful, like on my own terms and learning it on my own terms, which has been really nice. And I've had like a better relationship with it now because now I feel like I genuinely want to practice it and do things that are like more faithful to me instead of it having it be something I need to do. Was there like obligation?
Was there like a switch that happened, or maybe something that happened that kind of like took you from like, being scared of it and not being, wanting to label yourself as a Muslim to like, now being proud of it? Or was it just like gradual?
I was never like afraid to label myself as a Muslim, really. I think I just had a more far off relationship with Islam, but I think definitely when I moved out, it helped me just discover it on my own.
You moved out.
Yeah. Just pray more, find more friends that are more like-minded, didn't make me feel bad for, being a little bit more conservative with like going out or drinking or like dressing a certain way, So I feel like I'm more like me now.
Was there like a person or like an event that happened or like a person that you met like on social media or like someone to like look up to like that helped you be more proud to be Islamic? Because for me, I came across a spoken word poet named Mustafa Ahmed. Mustafa the poet. He now makes music under Mustafa. I've been following him for a long time. He's from Toronto. He started as a spoken word poet, and when I first discovered him and I started watching a lot of his performances that were about like being Muslim, grieving in his community, I related to it so heavily. And I think all we need like in life when we're trying to pursue something or when we see like something that we want to be more involved in is just we want to see somebody do it in a way that like we would do it. Does it make sense? Like if I wanted to get into dancing, but like I don't know how to dance, I would just. Why are you smiling?
Why not the first like example?
Maybe I want to get into.
I know you want to. You're into like salsa.
Maybe I'm getting. I just want to see somebody do it in a way that I would do it.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see the super professional. I want to see someone who's like.
I mean, that's why representation is important.
Yeah.
Like you want that specificity.
Right. But not even someone that looks like us, but someone that has like the personality and the characteristics of us. So once I saw him and I started looking into his work, it really helped me build my relationship with Islam. So shout out Mustafa. Do you have anyone like that?
Not really.
No.
Oh. What are your thoughts on like white people pronouncing Muslim with a Z?
Muslim?
Yeah. Like, do you think that's just like a learned thing that they just
they've just never had they've never had somebody correct them.
Interesting.
I honestly used to kind of say Muslim, but now I say Muslim.
Yeah, Muslim.
They just never had somebody pronounce it. All the white people are saying Muslim. Goddamn Muslims. I kind of say that when I'm bored.
Oh, wow, when you're bored.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, yeah. Like.
If you have nothing to say,
same with like Iraq, Iran.
Yeah.
Iraq.
Yeah.
Iran.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
And I think it's just like the Western pronunciation of it. But something that really rubs me the wrong way.
What?
Is the increase in Islamophobia whenever wars and crises like this do become more popularized. Like obviously Islamophobia was very big when the U.S. Army was in the Middle East for the oil and stuff post 9/11. Still are, yep. And now, with everything happening in Palestine and that being such a big, news coverage, having such heavy news coverage right now, the Islamophobia has been crazy. And I feel like it doesn't really hit Western media because, again, we are only seen as the bad guys and we're only shown when something bad is happening that we're inflicting or whatever it is, but it's never shown really when it's on us, right? So it really hurts me when just a few weeks ago, a little 6-year-old boy was killed by a white man just because his family was Palestinian American. He was literally just 6 years old and he was stabbed multiple times and is literally sick in the head. His mom was also stabbed, but she's alive now. And also just recently, that just came out, a woman in Texas who was also Muslim, a doctor who just moved there, was also stabbed, right? And it's just so scary because, again, like, we don't feel this pain as much directly because, like, I'm not outwardly Muslim, I'm not wearing a hijab, but, like, it's scary for people like your mom who does wear a hijab and, family members and, like, loved ones. My best friend wears hijab. And it's just scary for them to just do their normal day-to-day, And, like, it's kind of similar to, like, going onto the train post 9/11 if you were wearing a headscarf or if you were driving taxi and you were wearing a tupi if you were a man, right? It's like you're doing normal stuff. You're doing your job to live, to pay bills, and you're getting targeted and hate crime just because you're brown and you look outwardly Muslim. And obviously, like, the Sikh community also get, like, subjected to the same thing because white people and just, like, other people in general automatically think that they're Muslim just because they wear this. Like, there's no sort of any, like, knowledge behind those eyes. But it's just really sad when other people have to get the horrible end to the stick for something that is not related to them at all, and they have to be the ones subject to terror and hatred.
Like, I feel like things like this only get recognition because they're posted on social media by people that look like us. Like, you're not seeing that on the news.
Yeah.
And if you see it, it's a little 10-second segment. Oh, rest in peace, blah, blah, blah. And they will never bring it up again. And on that note, do you have any advice for someone who may be struggling with, identifying as a Muslim and is like, oh, like, I want to be more Muslim, but I, like, don't know how, or I don't know how to be more proud of my faith. Do you maybe have, like, maybe they're like 18, 19, whatever age they are. Do you have any advice for somebody who's, like, in that position?
I think a lot of us were fearful of religion, whether it is Islam, whether it is Christianity, just because we had to follow it, like, so strictly by the book, and we had, like, these very specific things that we had to follow to be considered a good Muslim or a good Christian or whatever it is. And it's either pray 5 times a day or either, like, wear hijab, like, something that's very, like, following the book, right? And I think you have to kind of discover what it is to you that makes a good Muslim. It can be you giving charity or you not backbiting and not judging other people. And I think just, like, follow that one thing very strictly or try your best to, because I think that just makes it easier to follow everything else. Yeah. Because in this day and age, there are so many people that pray 5 times a day, but still they're stealing, or still they're talking shit, or still they're blaming everything on women and, you know, are horrible people. Yeah. So I think just think about what makes a good Muslim for you and then follow that in your own standard and just, like, do small things that are going towards those certain goals, you know?
Yeah. You snap.
Yeah.
Snap my boy. Snap my boy. Nah, I would just say kind of like the same thing.
No way.
Nah, I mean, kind of what I said before, you know, a lot of us are taught religion with fear and with demand. And your relationship with Islam or any religion is lifelong. You know, you don't gotta be the most faithful man or woman today. But you could strive to be. And you strive to be by first falling in love with the religion itself and what it demands of you, maybe put that second and first study religion, see what attributes of it you personally enjoy.
Learn it on your own terms.
And then you slowly follow the path of like, how can you be a better worshiper for Allah and for God? And it doesn't gotta be today. I'm still going through it. We're both going through it. You know, I'm a better Muslim than I was 5 years ago, but I'm not the best, you know. But I do strive to be the best one day, you know. So
one day. So, you know, usually we have responses from you guys on each topic, and we would love to, you know, take in some of your own experiences and questions and provide advice. But unfortunately, we did not do that for this episode today, just because we are pre-filming a bunch of episodes in the next few days for the whole month and stuff. But just know, in the future, we will be doing that for most episodes, where we take in your own account and experiences. On our Instagram, you can actually share your own responses on our stories. It's at
Difficultish.
But we actually have a new segment.
We do?
That we are trying to implement more in our episodes.
I didn't know.
Yes, you did. You knew. So if you guys aren't watching video, this is actually the point to do it. This is the perfect spot to do it.
Yeah.
Because this is like more of a visual thing, not really a listening thing. So we want to do this thing where we like learn something new or try something new each episode or so. And we're teaching you something new, hopefully. And we're also learning it new, right?
That's a good idea.
And we're teaching you how to embrace your culture. We're learning how to embrace it more, just trying new things.
Yeah.
So it'll be like, you know, trying a new food. It'll be us
trying out backflips.
No. It'll be us like vlogging a new word that we're learning in a different language.
Oh.
It'll be like us doing a different activity, you know, something that's very like small, not a backflip. It could have been him like jumping into the ball pit the other day. But anyway, so this is a very like vlog experience. It's only going to be a couple of minutes in the episode, but you always want to like, you know, end the episode on a nice little like happy note, experimental note. So this time, what are we going to do for this episode?
For this episode, we're going to try paan for the first time. We're finna go to Jackson Heights. We're going to be like,
you want to give a little like background on what paan is? Do you know?
It's just like the little paan leaf, and then you put a lot of different substances inside, and then you kind of roll it like.
Yeah. And then you stuff the whole thing in your mouth.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a nice little vlog experience here.
Yeah, that's yeah. But before y'all see that, first we got 10-second advice. So.
Well, it's not gonna be the end. It's the 10-second advice is gonna be after that.
Oh, so are we gonna insert that clip right now?
Here.
Starting.
Okay, you don't gotta talk.
Now.
We're officially in Jackson Heights or Little South Asia. Yes. What are your predispositions with paan?
Honestly, I'm a little scared. It doesn't look like visually, it's lacking.
It's lacking, and also it stains your teeth red.
It stains your teeth, and like, you know, like, but we out here, you know.
We out here. Like, we're excited. All right, we're here at the paan shop. Active paan, please. Goods are being made. Yo, this is the instructions I've been given. So, do we put the whole thing in our mouth?
No, like, this is way too big.
Bite it?
Yeah.
So this little triangle shape is like leaf.
Ready?
Little triangle shape. It's like a leaf.
Ready? 2.
One down.
Okay.
One down. I'm going in for another bite.
You're crazy.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Now here.
Yeah.
Initial first thoughts on that bun.
Never again. Maybe when I'm like
A little bit
38.
older. The only reason we liked it was it gave off like a little nostalgic feel because our, family members and people like that, older people usually have it. But beyond that, I feel like I would describe it as like adult candy, but not that good.
There was so much going on.
It was like bitter and sweet at the same time. I would recommend anyone to like try
it. You don't know. Maybe you might like it, but
And this is the one that didn't have. This is the one that didn't have like the drugs in it.
Right. This is like the easy mode.
The easy mode. But he gave up real quick.
I ran and I had to get like food to like get something else in my mouth.
So you got any 10-second advice after this nice little experience we had? I'm so happy that you put on socks for this episode. It was.
Well, y'all like
it was a little difficult to cut out the twinkle toes in the last one.
They're not that bad. Okay.
They're not bad.
So why are you making it seem like I'm
saying
the
the whole
guy?
world doesn't have to see it.
But why? Who are you to assume that they don't want it?
You're telling me people want to log on to YouTube and just see your twinkle toes?
I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying don't make assumptions in life. It's not a benefit. This is my advice. I'm looking for some. I really am. I got some, and this might be a hot take.
It probably is.
And I only recommend this if you live next to, like, very close to a grocery store. I'm not about the buying groceries for 3-4 weeks in advance. We don't gotta do all that.
Not even. You don't like groceries even for the week.
Go try out. Just try it out. Go to the grocery store and buy groceries just for the night. Just for that. And like do that like every night. It's fun. It feels like you're like European. Like,
bro,
it's like
it is
buy
such
like
a
little one piece of bread.
It is such a privilege for you to be doing that, where you go grocery shopping every day, where you just buy things for the day.
That's why I say only if it's like across the like close to you.
My advice is, if there is something that you love to do, but you keep pushing it off, because oftentimes the things that we love doing and our hobbies and our passions, it is so hard for us to actually do it. I don't know why. Just do it, guys. Just do it, because you'll feel so much better like in the middle of it. I love drawing, but I hate like actually getting to the idea of wanting to draw.
That's true. That's what I like. I like what you said that. You'll love it when you're like while you're
in the middle of it.
That's
right. You just gotta like get that discipline to just do it.
That hit me. Anyways,
thank you so much for listening. There is obviously so much more that we can say on this topic. We did not do it justice enough because where you can't stop with something like this. So let us know if you want a part 2, if we did miss anything specific. We have just like so many more things that we can say. But again, we kind of wanted to like delve into different topics about just like post 9/11. And we hope we did it some sort of justice and you could relate to some part of it if you did watch or listen. But let us also know if you've been liking the YouTube videos. We've been working hard on it.
We don't got much going on, but it's me, it's her.
It's wholesome. Feels very Bengali. Yeah.
Good time. Let us know if you like the Paan section.
Yeah.
And we love you. Thank you guys so much for listening. Subscribe, like, comment. Tell us your favorite part. Tell us you love us. Call me handsome. Follow me on Instagram, Masha Munir. Follow the podcast, Difficult Dish. Follow her at
Labyrinth F.
And we'll see you next week.
Allah Hafiz.